everyone in US and good evening in India and Europe. Menstrual irregularities occur in an estimated 14 to 25% of women of childbearing age. We are going to discuss how Ayurveda can help heal menstrual disorders and also provide few success cases. Presenting this topic, we have Vaidya Tejaswini Borse. She runs her own Ayurveda clinic in India. She's an Ayurveda physician, educator, wellness consultant for the last 17 years. Vaidya Tejaswini has helped heal a lot of young women with PMS and pregnancy-related issues. I am Amita from Nourish Talk, a platform for natural and holistic therapies. I am excited to introduce you to Vaidya Tejaswini. Welcome, Vaidya Tejaswini. All right, should we get started? Namaste and well, happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all the viewers in India. It marks the beginning of new work, and so hopefully all of us are staying safe wherever we are. Okay, so let's get started and just tell us a little bit overview of the how the female system works and the Ayurveda perspective after that.
Namaskar to all of you from India and from California to all over the world people. And as Amita said, this is the festival of Ganesha. I pray that everyone will get a healthy lifestyle and a health in their further days. So as we are having today's topic for the female reproductive system, and let's start with some introduction about it, that what it includes. Now we know that we are having the modern science and also the Ayurveda science. Ayurveda is also having its own anatomy, and in that one we have learned, we know that the similarities are there, much similarities are there, and what is needed or what is there in the organ system, female reproductive organ system, is the screen you can see. This is the uterus, ovaries, fallopian tube, cervix, and vagina. So today's topic is for all you who don't know about the Ayurveda terminology. So I will try to correlate and share my views in both the ways so you can understand it well, not only the Ayurveda side. Okay. So what is needed for the healthy menstrual cycle and the pregnancy. Okay. So Ayurveda has also described the proper menstrual cycle is needed for the healthy pregnancy. So each and every topic means any disease we can treat with the Ayurveda side is starting with the digestive system. Okay, so in Ayurveda we are having the concept of digestive fire, that is Agni, which is the main thing, which is the main transformation process in our body, that which digests our food material and forms the seven dhatus. Okay, they are Rasa, Rakta, Mams, Med, Asthi, Majja, and Shukra. So Shukra is the seventh dhatu, and which is the reproductive system. So in female we called it as the ohams, and in male it is the sperms. So it starts with the Rasa dhatu. That's why our Rasa dhatu, our digestive system, should be very healthy and strong. The second one, that is the metabolism, as Rasa turns into Rakta. Rakta means blood. Blood turns into Mamsa, Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa. Mamsa is muscles. And so on it goes, and it forms the Shukra. So for this healthy sperms and healthy oham, we need healthy Rasa dhatu, which comes if we are having healthy food habits and we are having strong digestive fire. And as we know, maybe all of you or some of you have read about the Ayurveda, which is based on the three dosha. That is the three humours, which are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So in Ayurveda, the site of Vata dosha is a lumbar region where this uterus lies. So balance Vata, that is very important for the healthy menstrual cycle and conceiving. And as we know that everything comes to our diet pattern. So whatever the medicines we are taking, whatever our body system is working, everything comes if we are having healthy lifestyle. Now everyone is under stress. Our lifestyle is very hectic, we don't follow our food timings, or we eat the junk foods or whatever, which are not good for our body. In Ayurveda, we call it as a body type, that is Prakruti, which is based on Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And as per the properties of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, everyone should follow their regimen, food regimen. If we don't follow that one, then it vitiates the digestive fire and it gives us illnesses. So healthy lifestyle, regular exercises is needed for our healthy menstrual cycle. Now this slide shows that where the Vata dosha remains. This is in this side you can see the uterus, you can see the rectum, you can see the bladder. Okay, all this anatomical picture shows that on this side the Vata dosha comes. Vata dosha is having the property which is a mobilizing. Okay, it is mobile in nature. That's why we have to control over it. If the Vata is vitiated or it is disturbed, then what happens? The conception didn't happen. And in the menstrual irregularities, the symptoms, that heavy menstrual flow or irregular menses or scanty menses happens if the Vata dosha is not in balanced state. That's why we have to consider this side when we give the treatments to a patient who are suffering with any menstrual problems or infertility. So this is the main concept, that in Vata dosha, that is Kati Pradesh we called in Ayurveda, we have to take care of this Vata dosha. Vata dosha is all over the body, but the main site is Kati, that is lumbar region. Now what healthy pregnancy needs? We in Ayurveda, we are having a shloka. Everything is written in Sanskrit, that all of you know. That is Rutu Kshetra Ambu Bijanam. Rutu means menstrual cycle. How is your menstrual cycle? Whether it is irregular, whether it is of 28 days or 30 days, it is coming regularly, it is having a good flow of 3 to 5 days. How is the properties of that menstrual flow? That is that Raja we call, we don't call it Rakta, that is blood. We call it Raja, which forms from the Rasa Dhatu. How is the property? Whether it is having black in color, whether it is red in color, or it is stickiness, or the clots are coming, whether it is painful. So in that way, we judge the menstrual cycle. If it is vitiated with Vata dosha or Kapha dosha or Pitta dosha, as per that we select the treatments and the herbs for that complaints. The second one comes is the healthy uterus. Now whole reproductive system is under that one, that is uterus, ovaries, vagina, cervix and fallopian tubes. So if there is a healthy nature, if there is a healthy state, that the ovaries are producing ovums at the correct timing, if they are having good properties to get conceived, the fallopian tubes are well, the lumen is well maintained of the fallopian tubes. The endometrium, now the next point is endometrium. If it is healthy, then only a pregnancy can happen. So these are the points, and the very important that I said, ovum in female reproductive system, and in male, for the males, the sperms are needed. That is the healthy shukra, we call it shukranu. So the healthy sperms are needed, which are cold in nature. So when there is a vata dosha or heat in the uterus region or the lumbar region of a female, then the sperms get killed. So we do the shodhana, we do the purification, we do the detoxification of uterus to remove all that heat, and then the sperm can survive over there. So this is the treatment part for which I will come ahead with my case studies. Next slide, please, Amita.
So just one question before we move on. So you talked about, do you do some kind of a test, like if a woman walks into your clinic and she's having problems, so do you do any lab tests for her menstrual cycle? You said that the flow of the menstrual cycle is dependent on whether it's clotty, or irregular. So is there any lab test that you do? How do you know if that person has a vata dosha? Maybe you can explain that a little bit before we go to the case studies.
Sure. That's a very good question. That in Ayurveda we don't judge or we don't diagnose only which is based on the lab testing. Okay, we do it with darshan, sparshan and prashna. We examine the patient. We touch, we feel the abdominal touch of the patient. How is there bloating or flatulence? Then we can say. if there are any complaints regarding Vata dosha like constipation or back pain. At the same time, we do the prashnai, that is questioning, that what is the, as I said, the color of the menstrual flow. The patient can only tell it about you, whether they are having clots or no. So that prashnai pariksha come over here. And the third one is the darshan pariksha. So we see. So in that one, we ask patient to do sonography, that is the ultrasonography. So in that one, I can get the idea whether the ovaries are normal or there are polycystic ovaries, or the what is the size of the uterus and the vagina. So that comes, and along with that I ask patient to do the hormonal study, that if the hormones are in normal ranges, then it is good, that we have to because patient knows all these things, and we also have to prove that this is the correct way we are doing the diagnosis and doing the treatment. So I ask patient to do the hormonal test also. So in that one, I can get the idea whether it is, if it is not having any imbalance.
Okay. So the main thing is to understand the imbalance, where the imbalance is occurring.
Yes. So
Yeah.
imbalance is there. Now, as I said, that Vata dosha is the main humor which lies at the lumbar region. So I have to treat that one, no doubt about that. But along with that, if there is any imbalance which is regarding pitta or kapha, like in polycystic ovarian disease, they are having cyst formation, which are the bubble-like. So in Ayurveda, we consider it as a kapha dosha. If it is the heat is more, the heavy menses are there, the heavy flow is there, and for many time, then we can say the rakta, the pitta dosha is increased. So that rakta and pitta, like blood and pitta dosha, so that heat is increased. So I have to consider those things. So for this all reproductive system, vata is first. And as I said, the menstrual, how is the menstrual cycle? If the pain factor is more, then vata is vitiated. These are some symptoms. As now maybe in some other webinar we will go through what is vata pitta kapha. So you can understand how we diagnose that vata is vitiated or pitta or kapha, because we are having their properties, we are having their normal functions, and if they are imbalanced, what happens?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
So shall I go ahead with the case study?
Yes, please. Yes. Let's discuss few success cases, because success cases are always very important. Yes.
Yes. So in my first case study is the polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is now very common disease, or the complaints which is coming from menarche. It is now happening with the girls, that they are having the irregular menses, they are having a heavy flow. So in the beginning, maybe the girls or the parents ignore those things, because okay, this is menarche phase, it will happen. But if when it is become regularly, that the cycle comes after 2 months or 3 months, then they come to us that okay, there something is happening wrong, and shall we go for any? Now the people are very educated, so they come to us, and then we go through the case study. We ask some questions first, then we ask to do the sonography, as I said. If the polycystic ovarian syndrome is, then we are having that evidence that this is our correct diagnosis. So in this case, the age is 28 years. This is a married girl, which is having a irregular cycles. Heavy flow is there. Like cycle comes after 1.5 months to 2 months of duration, but the flow is very high and it goes for 15 to 20 days. So it is very bad thing that as rakta dhatu, that blood goes of the body out of the body, the hemoglobin level also goes down, and also having the painful menstruation. So the vata, as I said, when pain comes, the vata dosha is vitiated, so that pain factor comes. And as this is a married woman, so I asked her to do the ovulation study, whether the ovum are forming at correct timing or no. So we found with the ovulation study that there was no ovulation, because this is the main symptom of PCOS also. And the very important, that obesity. Now here the weight gain is more. So whatever, as I said in the beginning, that we consider digestive fire, we consider metabolism, we consider all the 7 tissues, dhatu of our body, with which the body is built. So here the mera dhatu, the fat, fat metabolism is disturbed. That's why obesity comes. Okay, so we have to treat patient in that way, considering all this vata, pitta, kapha and their age factor and their need also, that whether now as she is married, she should conceive in this correct age. So the treatment is to regulate the menstrual cycle. That first comes, that I advise them to give some internal medications, which is form in the tablets or the powder form. Then very important is to control the flow. Okay, so as the flow is going for the 15 to 20 days, which is not good, so we use some medications which are having the as we say, the constricting properties. We called it Ayurveda as a kashaya rasa, which constricts the blood vessels, or here we can say the endometrium. It controls the flow. So control of the flow with the herbs. And as she is having the dysmenorrhea, that is painful, so I have to give some vata treatment. Like I will ask, I have suggested her to, after her digestive fire is strong, then I had suggested her to take some medicated ghee, and in her daily diet also, and some medicated ghee in early in the morning. So this ghee preparations, which will never increase your cholesterol or the weight, but it will suppress or it will balance the vata dosha. Okay, and the second important thing comes is the panchakarma treatment. In Ayurveda, we are having treatment like shaman chikitsa and shodhan chikitsa. Shaman means we are balancing the dosha internally with the medications, with the diet, with the exercises. And shodhan chikitsa is the detoxifying. So we remove the imbalanced state of that dosha or the tissues which are happening. So in panchakarma, I advise her to do the basti chikitsa. Basti chikitsa is for vata dosha. Mainly it works all over the body, all over the tissue. The process is by giving the medicated oils and decoctions to anal region, like the process of enema. But it is not the way as the enema works, like just to clean the bowel. It will never work like that. The oil will get absorbed in the body. It will settle the vata dosha and it will treat it. Okay, so not the bowel cleaning is the aim of basti. And when the toxins all over the body, that is imbalanced tissues are there in the body, or the arm, we say, it comes to the abdomen. We remove it through the decoction basti. Then at that time, there is a bowel cleaning. So this is the shodhan chikitsa. For vata, we have to use oil in all the ways, oil and ghee. So we are advised to do the oil massage. That is very important. The person couldn't do massage daily for whole body massage. Then what we ask is to do it to the lumbar region, the lower back and the abdomen, because this is the main site of vata. So at least daily at your home, you can do the massage to your abdominal part and lower lumbar region. Okay, and when the patient comes to us in clinic for panchakarma, we do the whole body massage, that is abhyanga we call. We do the steaming, that is vedana, and the basti. Okay, and very important is the lifestyle correction. So PCOS and all these diseases are the lifestyle oriented. We call it as, because we are having, as I said, we are having wrong food habits, we are having wrong lifestyle, whatever the stress is there or irregularity in our diet and exercise. So we have to treat it with the proper diet habits and proper food ingredients as per your body type. And very important is yoga is needed, because we have to do some asanas which will give massage or which will nourish the inner organ system also. So we are asked to do some asana and meditation to relax the mind, because Ayurveda considers that every disease is not only related with body, but we have to consider mind also. So for that we have to give a treatment, or we have to calm the mind also. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I've seen some questions coming up. We'll take questions in a few minutes. So if you could type your questions in chat, we'll take them right after her session. All right. Let's go ahead. We'll be all right. Let's move ahead. Yes, please. Okay, so we'll go to the case study 2. The second case study is about infertility.
Yeah, I have a question. Should I answer that question first?
No, We can
do it
take it after this. Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
That's better. You finish your talk and then we'll take care of questions.
Sure. So second case is unexplained infertility, which is now very common, that everything is normal. Ovulation study is normal, the sperm count, mobility is normal, but still there is no conception. So what happens? So this is the case study. Now the complaint, this lady is of 31 years of age. She is having the regular menses, proper menstrual flow, but delayed ovulation. The ovulation is there, but the delayed ovulation. The history is of hyperacidity. So pitta dosha is vitiated over here, and she complains of stress, anxiety, and painful menstruation. Okay, so in this case, we have to consider all these points, like stress is there, anxiety is there. Now she is of 31 age, so now she is moving ahead with her the conception age also, that she should conceive at this time. It should not get delayed. And for her husband also, we did all the investigation; those are also normal. So what we do is the internal medication for the timely ovulation. As the delayed ovulation is there, it should not happen. We prescribe all the medicines, or I give all the medicines which are herbal preparation. So no hormonal therapy, nothing. But for the timely ovulation, we have to do this thing, and it gives a good results for this. And again, as I said, she is having hyperacidity. So acidity comes is because of pitta dosha. Now, as I said, that vata dosha is vitiated for the menstrual cycle or the female organ system. But at the same time, if pitta is vitiated, if pitta is increased in her body, then at that time, what happens? The heat in her body, like pitta, the heat is there. So same heat is there in the uterus also. So it kills the sperms. So there will be no conception, no possibility of conception. So at that time, what we do is the body with the internal medication, and along with that the body detoxification processes. Okay, so for that the treatment comes is like through the panchakarma is Abhyanga, Basti. Shirodhara is very good treatment for the mind, which gives you relaxation, and lifestyle corrections with diet regimen and yoga and meditation. So Shirodhara is best thing, which nourishes your body tissues. It works on the mind also. Like at this age, and with all the treatments from modern medicine also, the patient comes after that we didn't get any result. So they are under very high tension, the stress, and Indian families it is more. So we have to relax them first. We have to calm them first. So with medications also, and with Shirodhara, it helps a lot. Okay. The third case is of totally infertility, that is unovulatory cycles, menorrhagia, irregular cycles, back pain, and stress. The age is again 33, which is coming towards now as she crossed 30s, the pregnancy is must. The husband is having low sperm count and motility. He is suffering with hyperacidity, stress, and body pain. So in such cases, we have to consider, means for each and every infertility patient for the pregnancy, we treat both husband and wife. And if there is some health issues, we have to give medications to both of them. So then only the chances of pregnancy will increase. So here what I do is the internal medications for the ovulation and conception. Basti is very important. Shirodhara. I give some laxative because as Vata dosha is there, it should be having a good mobility. Means it should not get trapped inside. Else it will kill everything. So some laxative is needed. And Abhyanga, that is oilation, massage therapy. And for the male, the husband, to increase the sperm count and motility. Then for him also, the Basti is very important because as the person is having, as I said, we do a deep case study. What is their working pattern? How they work? Is there any traveling? If they are traveling for a longer time, or so the Vata increases. So for that, they are having lower back pain and all. So for these reasons, we do the Basti Chikitsa. Again, the reproductive system is also there. So we have to consider that one, and the oilation therapy, that is massage. Yes. Okay. Next slide.
We have another case. So please, for all the viewers, please get your questions ready. I think we'll be able to take the questions in a few minutes.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, this is the case like for planned pregnancy. This is very nice thought in Ayurveda that we called it like Bija Shuddhi. Okay, the everything is normal, but now people are having like we want a kid and that should be very healthy, right? So one kid in Indian family, one or two, but now they are more aware of this thought that whatever is there or some hereditary problems are there that should not come to our child. So they plan for the pregnancy with the body detoxification, that is panchakarma. We called it as bija shuddhi. Here we treat both husband and wife, and we give them all medicinal therapy, panchakarma therapy. So there will be bija shuddhi like sperms and ovum detoxification, and they will conceive naturally. So no need to give some medication for conception. So here, this is the lady who is 26-year-old. She is having proper menstrual cycle. Only the thing is, she had the history of hyperacidity, constipation, stress, and husband with proper sperm count and motility, but history of anxiety, hyperacidity, and obesity. Now I have to treat only this one because these are some causative factors. Uh, if they are there, then some issues with the pregnancy or delayed pregnancy might happen. So to gain the healthy pregnancy and baby, for the proper baby's growth and healthy and pure breast milk production. That is also very important for this planned pregnancy panchakarma, that is bija shuddhi. That after in pregnancy, the pregnancy should be very smoothly going. All the milestones should come properly, and after that, breast milk production will be healthy and in proper quantity. So here I treated this the couple with internal medications, panchakarma, as I said, with basti. Here, as the acidity problem is there, and if the season, there are seasonal panchakarma. So if the season comes, then we suggest the virechana. Virechana is the purification of pitta dosha. So we give a laxative, but with some process of internal oilation or ghee intake. We ask patient to drink ghee for 4 to 5 days. We do massage, steaming, and on 5th day we give laxative. So by this process, all the toxins come to the intestine, to the abdomen, and we remove it through the laxative process. This is called virechana. That is also very useful for the infertility patients and for planned pregnancy. And Uttar Basti for the female. Uttar Basti, now you heard about Basti. Means I use word Basti everywhere. So Basti is to anal region that we insert the medicated oils and kadha or the decoctions. But in Uttar Basti, we give oilation like the Basti through the vagina, which goes directly to the uterus. So it is for the detoxification of the uterus. This Uttar Basti I can use for all the cases, for PCOS cases, for unexplained infertility cases, and the success rate is very high. When I do Uttar Basti for the patients, within a month, the pregnancy or the conception happens, and with a healthy pregnancy. So Uttar Basti is having very high rate of success. Only the thing is that we give directly to the uterus, and through the fallopian tubes and ovaries, it goes to the inner abdomen, inside the body. That's why we follow all the sterilization processes, like OT process, operation theater process. We do all the preparations and we give this treatment. So I come to this treatment in the end. If it is not, if the pregnancy is not happened with Basti or Virechana, then I go with the Uttar Basti, because we have to take that much of precautions with the while doing this Uttar Basti. And now after pregnancy, what happens is the 9 months medications are given in Ayurveda. Like each and every month, a different organs forms in our with the womb, with the baby. Like this month, the eyes will form. This month, heart will form. The 6 months, the buddhi will form. So as per that, we are having medications. So we give the medicinal treatment for each month, first month, second month, third month. The Ayurveda preparations are there. That is very useful for the healthy growth of the baby and the further milestone growth of that baby, and to increase the immunity and intellectual level. So this comes when pregnancy happens.
Oh, after when somebody is already conceived during the 9 months, right? That's what you're saying.
During the 9 months. Yes,
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So
So this is the picture that I just told you about Basti. That is, this is through the anal canal to the intestines, the first picture. And the second picture is the Uttar Basti, through vagina to the uterus. In that fashion, we give the Uttar Basti.
Okay, okay. And then do you have to put anesthesia before or?
No need, no need.
Okay,
No
okay,
need.
no anesthesia.
Only the thing is sterilization is very important. Whatever the instruments we are using and the place, my clinic and all, that we sterilize very well.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the different herbs. You mentioned herbs quite a
Yes.
bit.
So as I told you, the diagnosis is very unique in Ayurveda, which is based on body type, that is Prakriti, the complaints, the age of the person, the climatic conditions, and the strength of the patient and that disease. So considering all these conditions, we give the treatment. Okay, so these are some helpful herbs I have written. These are the Sanskrit names. I will share the botanical names later on with Amita. So if someone needs, she can give it to you. So these are some herbs like Shatavari. Everyone knows about Shatavari, which is a female tonic. Ashwagandha is also female and male tonic. Gokshura, which is helpful for the uh, urinary tract. But as the same the organ system, the Vata site is there. So we use this one for the obesity patient also. Guduchi is well known herb now for increasing our immunity, for best digestive fire, to digest the armor. This is Guduchi, Pinospora cordifolia. That is very important. Shunthi, everyone knows. This is the ginger, best for the digestion and metabolism. Haritaki and Ananta. Ananta is a very nice herb which works on the Pitta dosha and Kapha dosha. And as I said, that's something which needs to constrict the blood vessels to control the blood flow. Ananta is very useful. Next slide, please.
I think
Ashoka, Devadaru, Pushtha, Yashtimadhu, all of you may know, licorice, Bilva, Nagkeshar, Lata Karanja, and Pimple Mood. All these are which will help for the dysmenorrhea, menorrhagia, and for the PCOS condition.
I do want to add that this is an educational webinar, so please don't experiment taking all these herbs by yourself.
That's why I have not shared anything over here. Don't experiment it. And in the beginning only, or the tagline is that with your body type, with the complaints, with her doctor's Vaidya's advice only, you have to take the treatment. Don't go for self-medications, please.
Correct. Okay, so we are ready for questions, and I've written our email as well and our website. If you wanted to have any other comments after the webinar. So let's go through the questions now. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so that everyone can see Vaidya Tejaswini. Okay, so let's see the questions. Okay, so now someone's asking, does consumption of cheese and dairy is related to PCOS?
Sorry?
No, that's okay. I'll read it. If someone is taking too much cheese and dairy products, like milk and all, is there any correlation with the PCOS?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So as I said earlier, yeah. As I said earlier, that everything starts with the digestion and metabolism. Okay. So cheese is, I will not say that cheese is wrong, because as per the climatic condition, as per your digestive fire strength, you can consume cheese. But in Indian climatic conditions and the conditions which are there in US or European countries, as the cold is more, and if you are having strong digestive fire, you can consume cheese with a proper amount, proper quantity. But as the cheese is having the guna like guru, like heavy to digest, and it gives as it is guru for the digestion, that is heavy for digestion, it takes longer time to get digested by the body. So if it is not getting digested properly, it forms the ama, that is undigested food material, and which is the main cause of any diseases. That's why we ask patients to avoid all these things if they are going through such a treatment. Like we don't ask patient in India also to consume curds, because curd is also in that fashion that it increases the imbalance in the body, mainly for the pitta and kapha dosha. So and as the cheese is having guru in guna, it will increase all the guru elements in our body, like muscles, like fat. Okay, so fat is more dangerous for us, because if fat will increase more than the quantity, it will give you obesity, and it will forms the it will have the what we say is the strotorodh, means it blocks the energy channels. That's why we ask to avoid or take consume the this cheese in PCOS and infertility case.
Okay. So someone's asking about medications. We generally don't like to talk too much into the medications without proper consultation, but someone's asking what are the medications usually used for PCOS and infertility? You can just say general, but we generally, these are educational webinars and we don't want to specifically talk about medication and someone is thinking that, you know,
Yes.
we are prescribing. It's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, the stages are different. Like first day of the menstrual cycle to the fifth day. Then at the time of 14th day when the ovulation happens, and if the ovulation is there, the conception happens. Then the treatment for the next 15 days differs. So as Amita is saying, telling about the medications is totally not advisable right now. But as if you are from India, you can get some medications from here, but do everything with a with that consultation. But some medications like Lata Karanza, Pimpalmul we use for PCOS patients. And as the obesity is there, then we go with Medopachak, which is given as a combination of herbs, which digest the Meda dhatu. The detoxification of Meda is needed. So in that way, we do some medication treatment.
Okay. All right. So someone's asking, could these conditions be induced by various doshas? Like, could PCOS be because of Pitta? The Pitta is the, and infertility by Kapha and irregular menses by Vata. Is that
So
different?
as per your question, that all the three dosha are at imbalanced state because
That's
someone is giving some results. So that's why
correct.
a deep case study is important, that which is happening, and at the same time, which dosha is vitiated for how much long time. And if there, like acidity is there, like pitta is vitiated. So I have to treat pitta also, but I have to give preference to something like pregnancy is needed. But if such a conditions are there in the body, then I will not ask someone to get concept that the pregnancy should happen in this month only. I ask them to do some detox processes, some medication that it will balance the pitta dosha. It will remove toxins from the kapha dosha. It will balance the vata dosha simultaneously. It is not like one by one. I will select the herbs which will be useful for all these three conditions, and then only I will suggest the person, or there will be good result in the healthy conception. So in that way, we have to do the proper case study, proper questioning, and information from the patient that what is happening, and then only. And it is not like a long process. It is not like for 1 year or like that. Like that, within 3 months, 4 months, it happens very well. If they are following a healthy diet regimen, if they are following a healthy lifestyle with exercises, yoga, meditation also, then it will help you more. So that's why we emphasize on lifestyle correction. It is not like everything is happening with medications. I am Vaidya. My job is to give medicines, but it is not like Ayurveda is holistic science. We ask patient to do everything with all the dimensions. So considering all these imbalances, I will select the herb like Chandra Prabhavati is there, Kuberakshavati is there. I will select the oilation for basti like Narayan Tel, Sahacharadi Tel, which is useful for that person. I will do if the Sharad Rutu is there, like the season after rainy season in India, it comes in September, October. I will do Virechana for that pitta, and it will detox the body, and proper energy flow will be there in their body tissues, and it will get cured, and they will have healthy pregnancy. And they will also, and not only for pregnancy, first of all for healthy menstrual cycle.
Sure, sure.
If they are unmarried, then we have to go for the healthy menstrual cycle and proper ovulation.
Correct, correct. So someone's asking for case number 1, the case study number 1. It was Vata disorder. What is the relation to Medha Dhatu? Since Vata patients are mostly underweight, that's a question mark. Are they underweight?
Yes, very nice question. Very good. As I said about the body type, that is Prakriti. Okay, everyone is having dominance of Vata, Pitta or Kapha dosha. If the person is of Vata Prakriti, then the person is of lean. They are very thin. They are underweight. Okay, and as per that, we suggest the regimens for them. Now here, like PCOS cases, the Vata dosha is there, but this is a disease condition. We call this Vikruti, not Prakruti. Prakruti is the balanced state, which is the Prakruti comes when at the time of conception, at the time when you are healthy. We consider Prakruti when we treat patient with medication. And this is the Vikruti. Like PCOS, Meda Dhatu is there, Vata dosha is vitiated, but still it is giving overweight. Because as I said, the armor comes in the system, and that armor blockages all the energy source, energy channels. We call it Srotasa. And this Srotasa, these channels get blocked. The energy, the fire gets trapped inside. The patient is having hyper agni, hyper digestive fire. They eat lot and obesity comes. So this is also Vata Vikruti. That's why we do the detox process with
Yeah.
Basti. If the patient is having low energy, low bala, as I mentioned, then we will go for Basti because Basti is very safe. For Virechana, we need strong willpower also and strong physical strength also. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we have another question saying if someone is a strong Vata dosha but has cardiac issues with blockages, I have read that it's best not to consume oil due to existing blockages. If Ayurveda agrees, what is the alternative to Abhyangam and other oil-based therapies for these Vata individuals? So someone with cardiac issues, and if the oil is not suggested, what would be the other alternative is what I understand from this
Yes.
question.
So here we are not consider this case is different, that they are having cardiac issues with blockages. They are having Vata imbalance, and if uh, oil-based therapies like Abhyanga, we do the Rudbasti for them. Like Rudbasti is making a circle or the round area at the site of the heart, and we insert oils in that one. So through the skin, it get absorbs. We call it Rud. Rud means heart. So heart for this heart therapies, we recommend Rudbasti. And as I said that how you consume oil and ghee internally by mouth or through basti, it acts differently. We don't suggest snehana, that is oilation by both the ways at the same time, means internal oilation by mouth and basti together. But for cardiac issues, basti is very useful. And as I said earlier also, if it is a medicated basti, if it is a medicated ghee, like we prepare it in cow's ghee and mainly in sesame oil, it will not harm you. It will not increase your blockages. Okay. But if your metabolism is wrong, if metabolism is disturbed, then it will increase your cardiac blockages. So we consider everything as per that only. And for that, you can externally oilation is very safe, that you can do at home. It gets absorbed through the skin pores and goes slowly and deeply to all the tissues, but it takes a longer time. But for Vata imbalance, you can do daily Abhyanga, which is advisable by Ayurveda in Dinacharya and Rutucharya also. That if you do daily Abhyanga, you will have a longer and healthier life. You can do that. Don't consume directly as you if you are having cardiac issues. But if your doctor is suggesting and if Vaidya is confident about Basti treatment, you can go with Basti.
Okay. So then I think follow up to that question is doesn't the oil further slow the already slow circulation? If you put oil, can it slow the circulation?
Yeah. So if we are talking about the oil, we use it through basti. Okay. And the basti, the oil goes into the intestine. It will never cross the duodenum. Okay. Duodenum is the site of digestive fire as per modern science also and as per Ayurveda also. That is the umbilicus region. Behind the umbilicus, there is the site of Agni. When we advise patient, when we give basti to the patient, we ask them to eat something. Okay, something light. It is not like heavy food. but have something. So there, the food will be in the stomach, and when the digestion process of the food will start, and when we introduce the buskis to the intestines, to the anal canal, it will never cross the fire. So it will never harm it. But as you know, as in Ayurveda or in Indian culture, we do homa, like we do fire. You know these puja types, we do the home and all these things. What we do, we give ghee in that one to enhance the fire. The same thing is happening. That's why we ask everyone to consume daily pure ghee. Pure ghee will enhance your digestive fire. It will never harm you. But if you are having indigestion, then you have to take it in lesser quantity. At that, if you are having fever, if you are having body pain, if you are having heaviness in abdomen, or constipation, we give oil, doodh, milk and pure ghee at bedtime for easy bowel cleaning. So it will help. So as per that, you can consume the pure ghee and oil differently. The effect are different, properties are different.
Okay. Okay, so then we have another one. Someone raised a hand, so please let us know what the question is. I see someone raising a hand, so let us know. We have another question. How can we sure to have a healthy reproductive system? Journal tips. So I just want to comment that, we are starting group workshops end of September, October. So, where whether Tejaswini can go more in details, but maybe something you can talk about it a little bit for one or two tips you can give them for general healthy reproductive system. But I suggest that you attend our workshops, which we'll be starting in September, October timeframe. But healthy reproductive system, what do you think? You
Sure,
talked a
sure,
lot
sure.
about it.
As I said earlier, that the reproductive system is having internal organ system like uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, cervix, vagina. Okay, so this is internal. So how this system will get energized, or the healthier system will be there? Everything comes from our food habits. Okay, it is not necessary to take daily medication for that. So if you are having, if you are having any complaints of this, or if you want to conceive, or you want a pregnancy, then you go for timely food habits. Okay, I don't know now you are from which country, but as per the seasonal climatic conditions over there, if you consult a Vaidya, they will give you a proper regimen that what you should do. In any country of the world we can give, because Ayurveda is for all, and we consider all these things from every person from any country, that we what climate is there, what food habits you have, what is your lifestyle. So as per that we can give you some corrections. You can go through that one. And as I said, vata is very important. So to control the vata, what is needed, what you can do right at your home is uh, vata is mobility. If you are hyperactive, if you are having hyper thinking, that is also vata vitiation. So for that you go for yoga, do some yoga treatments, go for oil massage to your belly part, to your abdomen and back, lower back. That will also help you to control the vata dosha. And do some meditations, do some omkar therapy, or do some whatever the music you like, you can listen to that one and do the meditation. That will also help you. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up? This is really good. It's engaging and people are asking questions. So we encourage all of you to come with your questions when we do these educational sessions. So any other questions before we wrap up? I see someone had raised a hand, so I would like to know if there is any question we can answer. I don't want to say names here, but let us know. Okay. All right, so I don't see any other questions coming up. Okay, so yeah, so I think we are ready to wrap up. Excellent session, Vaidya Tejaswini. I do want to tell the viewers that we are starting group workshops. We would be starting a group workshop on PCOS and in fertility-related issues. With Vaidya Tejaswini, when people can come in with more specific questions and you have a longer time. These are educational sessions, so please treat it as education. and don't start experimenting with the herbs yourself. I did myself, and I don't know, I started having all kind of strange things. So I'm just cautioning. Before I wrap up, whether Tejasvi, would you like to say final comments before we wrap up?
Yes. So as you said, Amita, that this is very true that don't do self medications. I emphasize continuously on abhyanga, that is massage, oilation. That
Yes.
is that you can do at your home
Okay.
with any oil like sesame oil or olive oil is if you are having right now, but with proper consultation, we can suggest you the perfect oil which is good for your complaint and your prakriti or body type. So don't go for internal medication, don't consume anything. Massage is external therapy. If you can do that much only, but don't go in deeper way. And Ayurveda is for all, means for whole world, and I'm happy that I'm working for Ayurveda, and Lord Ganesha give me this thing, the intellect and wisdom to treat the patient. So I will suggest all of you to try to uh, gain knowledge from Ayurveda and follow the Ayurveda for your healthy life and good immunity, which is needed in this situation, in today's situation also. Like COVID is there and we need good immunity. So Ayurveda is the best option for our healthy lifestyle. So thank you very much, Amita and Narish Doc and all the viewers. And very nice questioning. So I'm very happy with the questions. Thank you very much.
We have one last question before you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Does heat affects the health of the reproductivity? That's
Yes,
the
yes,
last question, I
yes,
think.
yes, yes. Of course. That's why I said we have to do the detoxification. If you are having heat like hyperacidity or migraine or burning in abdomen, whatever the symptoms are there. So these are the symptoms of heat in your body. You are saying it heat, I will say it pitta disease. For me, that will be at different levels. Whether you are having any issues related with belching or bloating, whatever, or a burning sensation in eyes and everything. So these are the heat. So heat, if it is there in your body, as I said, it will give heavy menstrual flow, and at the same time, the sperms gets killed when they comes to a woman's genitalia, like in the cervix and in the vagina. It gets killed, so there is no chances of pregnancy, or the chances are very less. So
Yeah.
that's why heat, we have to treat that heat. That is very important.
Okay. So I have put our contact details in the chat window. If there are any other questions which haven't been answered, you're welcome to email us. If you like our sessions, please help us share these sessions. These are promoting natural therapies, to as many people as we can. With that, I would like to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know your feedback as always, and have a great weekend, rest of the Sunday afternoon, and happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.